welcome to a very special edition of Big Fight Guide. It is the week of Valentine's Day and violence. We have a very special edition, Wednesday night fights, special feature on a Friday night. If you looked at your calendar this morning, you realize it's Friday, and yet we have fights, but it's still a Wednesday night fight series. I am Chris Algieri. This is Paulie Malignaggi in studio with me, and we are joined by the illustrious cast of Showtime Sean Porter and George Jakovic. And we're talking fights. George, what do we got?
We have got a great card on Friday, Chris, and we're going up against ESPN. ESPN has their own card. They've got a championship fight. But guess what? We have got two guys in the main event ranked in the top 10. We've got young phenoms. We've got veterans trying to get a shot. We have a little bit of everything on our card. You see what ESPN has? They have O'Shaquie Foster, who has become must-see TV against Abraham Supernova. But listen, we're here to talk ProBox TV, Wednesday night fights on a Friday. That's what we're here to do. And Sean Porter, we're going to start off with the first fight. It's an 18-year-old kid from Vegas. You may have run into him. They call him the King. Yeah. Robert Mayweather. He's fighting Carlos Rocha in a 4-round super featherweight fight. Tell us something about these young fighters who, I mean, he's 18 years old, 4 fights. He's just starting out. So it's a special thing when you're that age and you have a platform like this.
Absolutely. I've always been an advocate for the amateur system. Get as much as you can before you turn pro. I like to see a lot of the young guys stay amateur a little longer, grow into your man strength. The list goes on. This kid right here, Merriweather, not to be confused with Mayweather, but he trains at the Mayweather gym. Anybody who comes in that's close to his weight, and what was he fighting, like 130?
Yeah, 130.
Anybody between 118 and 150, he's getting in the ring with them and he's busting them up. I've seen it personally. The kid is lights out. He's only 18, so he's got room to grow. He loves it. He loves what he does. He loves being around the energy of boxing. He's a gym rat. And look to see him come into the ring on Friday night and really light it up. This is what I hate for a kid this early in his career. I want to see more people in front of him watching him fight. People who are on the app, they're going to get on the app and watch. But usually when you're young, you're 4-0, 5-0, you're fighting in front of almost nobody. This kid should be fighting in front of a lot of people, and I think that ProBox, you guys are going to get him to a level where he can do that sooner than he normally would. So, look to see him really light up the ring and get it hot for whoever else is getting in the ring.
Paulie, he's 18, and his nickname is the King, so that says something right there.
Yeah. I mean, listen, nicknames have a tendency to, you need a descriptive nickname, something that stands out, something that really describes you. But nonetheless, I want to go off of what Sean just said. Champ, you were mentioning about the need for these young fighters to fight in front of an audience, and a lot of times you're buried on deep undercards, and you don't really get the eyes and the notoriety on you that you should. And that's why when you're a prospect, TV dates are so important. When you're a prospect, fighting on TV is important, not just because obviously the money's more guaranteed when TV networks put money behind it, but also the fact that you get eyes from all over the place on you. That's a very important thing, because you want to, every time you have a chance to get more eyes on you, you have a chance to shine more, and taking advantage of those opportunities when you're on TV to shine and look the part makes people talk. It creates momentum, and then it creates more demand off that momentum, and so on and so forth. So Merriweather, 4-0 with 2 knockouts. He is a prospect who's talked about in a very positive light. We got to talk to him after one of our shows recently. Very polite kid, $1 million smile. But, for all intents and purposes, the word on him is he can fight. He's a lights-out type of fighter, very, very terrific talent. So he's got the $1 million smile. What did they say in that Legendary Nights series you had, George, when I forgot which guy it was, but he was I think it was Wiley. He was describing Ray Leonard. He could, some guys got a wink, some guys got a wink and a smile. And that's Merriweather reminds me of that. If he fights as good as the accolades on him and the word on him is, and he's already got that wink and smile kind of attitude towards him. He's very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Personable, personable kid,
Definitely.
and a likable kid. And if he can fight like this, I mean, he's got that promotability to him. So we look forward to having him at ProBox TV. I think fans will enjoy getting to see him as well. And again, TV dates are so important, and that's for a prospect like him, this will be a big opportunity.
Yeah, Paulie, we got a chance to interview him live on air with our partner Mike Goldberg after one of our shows, and absolutely, I mean, he was very charismatic. He definitely had personality, and coming off of someone that we've heard so much about in terms of what he's done in the gym, Sean, you're speaking to it. Speaking words of power here, that you've actually seen it. You know, so we're very excited to have him on air and have him showcase his skill set. It's crazy that he's 18 years old and he's going to be fighting in Pro Box. And Sean, you had mentioned the exposure that these young athletes generally don't get. Well, he's going to get it on Friday night on our air, because our studio gets full, our arena gets full very, very early on. People that come to our fights understand boxing. They understand that there is a show and a spectacle, and we put on good fights from beginning to end. So he's going to have a ton of people there to perform in front of, which I think is really important for the development of these young guys.
Yeah, the 18-year-old Robert Mayweather, they call him the King. We had a chance to talk to him, and this is what he had to say.
That's actually before I was even born, my dad wanted to name me King, but you know, a little discrepancy with that. But you know, with boxing, we decided to go ahead with King because I feel like I'm a king, you know, inside and outside the ring, and I carry myself as a king. A very active ear. I want to be in the ring as much as possible, showcasing my talent and proving to everybody that I belong where I am. That's very exciting to have world champions, you know, not just commentating, but breaking down my fights and also studying and watching my fights and seeing how I progress through my career. His name is Carlos Ochoa, but he's from Brazil. He's a cool boxer. He's orthodox. You know, I can see the flaws he has, and I'm gonna exploit him come Friday, the 16th. Come see me put on a boxing, you know, clinic, outstanding performance, you know, of boxing skill and talent. You're going to see a great jab, great defense, and also a great offense.
Anyone nicknamed the King, I can't wait to see fight. 18 years old, so we are expecting great things from him. Next fight we're going to break down, Sean. This is one of those intriguing fights. You've got an unbeaten Joeshon James against the veteran Vaughn Alexander. This is a middleweight fight. And Sean, this is one of those fights. You got this undefeated younger fighter up against the veteran. And I'll tell you what, Vaughn Alexander lost his last fight. He's been matched tough in his career, but Joeshon James had better be ready because Vaughn Alexander is going to bring it come fight night.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they were trying to fast track Vaughn based on, you know, him coming out of the situations that he was in, turning pro late and things of that nature. I think that they were trying to get him to a championship fight quickly, and it just didn't pan out. Nonetheless, the dude's got a lot of experience. That is always the equalizer against a young prospect. And then on top of that, a lot of power in the ring as well. On both sides of the ring, of course, but a lot of power coming from Vaughn, and I know a lot of power coming from Shuntom right there as well. So that's gonna be an action-packed fight. It's gonna be some heavy heat thrown, and I don't think that one's gonna go the distance.
And Paulie, we've been talking about this card, how you've got young phenoms, you've got veterans, you've got guys looking to make a name. This is one of those fights. It's the younger fighter versus the older fighter.
Yeah, and then Joeshon is a guy who's again got a lot of momentum behind him. He's a prospect. Speaking of fast track, he's trying to get on that fast track himself, and he's been looking impressive. And so getting to that stage where you're fighting these veteran types that have the experience and they have kind of world-class talent, but maybe they may have come up just short. That's sort of that next stage in that developmental aspect for a guy like Joeshon James. And so I think Vaughn Alexander is coming at a great time for him. Vaughn, on the other hand, like I said, like Champ Sean was saying, you know, he's turned pro a little bit late for some circumstances that were out of his control. But nonetheless, you know, he's Devin Alexander's older brother. He comes from a boxing family. Devin Alexander, the former world world champion. So he comes from a boxing family. He's been at it since he was young, since the amateurs, and had a very stellar amateur career himself. So he comes with a boatload of experience, be it in the amateurs and the pros. So certainly a step up for Joeshon James, and that's what we like to see here at ProBox TV, man. We don't want to give you any cupcakes or gimmies, even if you're a prospect. So a fight where we can sort of look at the crossroads for these two guys as well.
James has those 2 draws on his record. When you look at his record, one of those was on a Top Rank show against Javier Martinez, who's signed by Top Rank. So take what you will from that fight. He fought another undefeated fighter, got a draw there. So he is undefeated. He has those 2 draws, but they're against undefeated fighters. So this guy has been in tough, and he's in tough once again tonight because Vaughn Alexander has a world of experience, and experience is one of those attributes that it's really hard to put a finger on how important it can be. I think we're in for a really good fight.
What's up, everybody? It's Teofimo Lopez, The Takeover, and you're watching ProBox TV on the Boxing Channel. Let's go.
Well, this promises to be another intriguing fight. We talked to Mr. James, and this is what he had to say to us.
Oh man, name Joeshon James. My record is 8 wins, 2 draws, 5 knockouts. Those draws were bullshit, so I'm really 10-0. But we get to that another time. But what type of fighter I am? I'm an adapter. I can adapt to any style, and I can box, and I can fight on the inside. I throw a lot of guys off. They don't find out that they made a mistake until they're actually in the ring with me. So I think I'm the most ducked at middleweight. Oh man, February 16th next week is going down. I'm fighting Vaughn Alexander, tough, rugged veteran. I actually didn't know Devin Alexander had a brother until now, but I grew up watching Devin Alexander, so it's crazy that it's come around full circle and I'm fighting his brother. So it just makes it that much more sweet once I put him away. I'm looking to get him out early. He shouldn't last too many rounds with me. I've been training since November, so I'm ready to punch somebody in the face and get him out of there early. A few of my peers have been fighting on ProBox, and it's a big growing network, and it's getting pretty big. They're everywhere, and I don't know too much about fighting on ProBox. I just know I gotta go in there, and I have a job to do. So I just gotta go in there and have fun and have fun with ProBox. Man, they can expect fireworks, peer boxing, taking back to the old school fighting, the Tommy Hearns and the Sugar Ray Leonards, and you don't know what round is going to end in. So this is exciting, and it's just something different. I know I'm a fighter and everything, but I know I'm different in there. Once I'm in there, you kind of get a breath of that old school fighting. So I'm looking to bring an exciting fight. Oh man, I just want to fight the best. You call me out, I'll call you out. Let's fight next week in the phone booth. Let's not duck each other for 2-3 years. Let's get it on. Let's get the fans what they want right now. As soon as possible. So I'm just looking to make those great fights happen. Thank you.
Boy, anyone who talks about the old school fighters, I'm a fan of. So this is again another intriguing fight. The young fighter on the rise against the veteran who is going to bring it. Vaughn Alexander's 38, so he has got to bring it in this fight. Wednesday night fights on a Friday. Everybody is talking about ProBox TV, including one of the best fighters in the world, Teofimo Lopez.
What's up, everybody? It's Teofimo Lopez, The Takeover, and you're watching ProBox TV on the Boxing Channel. Let's go.
Like we said, Friday night, it is going down. Wednesday night fights on a Friday. We're going up against ESPN. But look at this card we've got. Like I said, we've got ranked contenders. Picasso and Cardenas are looking for a title shot. We've got young phenoms. We've got veterans looking to stay and remain relevant in the sport. ProBox TV is where it's at. Friday night, tonight, the fights are going down. Look at Sean Porter. Look at the excitement on his face. Look at that right now. Hey, Sean.
I'm gonna express myself because I've said this something. I hate when boxing competes against boxing. You got so many other sports to compete against, and I get it. Like ProBox, you had to move. Today's Valentine's Day, and for the life of me, people will rather celebrate love than watch boxing. What the heck? Nah. this is one of those situations where you got to flip back and forth. You can't miss Oshaki Foster. It is what it is, but along the way, you can certainly be checking out ProBox TV and looking to see what's coming next. Let's keep it real. Like whatever's on ProBox TV, eventually you're going to see those guys in the elite categories against the best at some point. So. And hopefully we see them then on ProBox TV. That of course is the goal, I'm sure, for ProBox TV. Until then, you put on great fights, you try to compete against ESPN, and you show that, hey, we got what it takes. We can do our thing over here, and you get people. That's how people buy in. They flipping back and forth, and then eventually you just slow down and you stay on one channel. So
We're on an hour earlier tonight. We go on at 8. ESPN goes on at 9. So you check out guys like Mayweather before the ESPN goes on the air. The ESPN card goes on the air anyway.
And to your point, Sean, I mean, usually it is a Wednesday night, and we do it on a Wednesday because no one else does boxing on a Wednesday. But this is just a special situation. But we're going into the next fight. Sean, we got another 18-year-old fighter. Emiliano Moreno is taking on Axel Salgado. It's an 8-round welterweight fight. What strikes me about Moreno, Sean, is he's 18. This is going to be his 9th fight. He's fighting another undefeated fighter, but this is another young man, like I said, with 9 fights, and we get to see his rise in the sport.
When I would say maybe a year or two before I retired, people were saying you fought everybody, nobody fights everybody like you, and I was saying, nah, times are changing, man. There's a wave coming. Things are happening in my house. There's a new wave coming, and I felt with this new wave that there was going to be young fighters that were going to be eager, hungry, and ready to get in the ring with no matter who it was across from them. And I think that that's the case we got with Moreno, only being only 18 years old, going in for his 9th fight. He understands, hey, this guy's undefeated, but I am who I am, and that's what I like, because let me prove who I am. And it didn't matter who was across from you. I'm going to do what I do best. And that's why we always got to see great, exciting fights. Nobody was willing to back down. Nobody was willing to decline who they were based on who was across from them. And that's what we're getting. This is the new wave we're coming into, man. And I love it. I love seeing young, hungry fighters get in the ring with other young, hungry fighters. That's what's going to keep this sport alive.
Yeah, Paulie, you and Chris called his last fight. I believe it was his last fight. He looked sensational in it, Moreno. So again, Paulie, we got 2 18-year-old fighters on this card. It's exciting.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, and this goes to show you, if you impress us on ProBox, if you give the fans what they want, if you show that you're of the quality, but you also show you are of the excitement value, you get brought back here on ProBox, and Sean's talking about this new generation where fighters will fight each other. Well, on ProBox TV, you want to be a prospect on ProBox TV, you're gonna have to be in tough. We're not going to give you the free TV date just to pad your record. And on ProBox TV, you wind up having to go up against, in this situation, Moreno up against another undefeated fighter as well. Hungry fighter versus hungry fighter, undefeated versus undefeated. There's always a little bit of an extra edge on the chip on both guys' shoulders when it's like that. Another good matchup, and just shows why ProBox TV is must-see TV.
Listen, this is a sneaky good fight. We had Axel Melendez on our air, and he upset the very highly touted Gervonta Duncan. And we were all highlighting. Everyone was looking at Duncan. Axel went in there and performed beautifully, put a hurting on Duncan, showed him why he's undefeated. So this is as close to a 50-50 matchup as you're going to find. I know we're talking about Moreno because he's young, but I mean, he's got a really, really tough out in front of him. Axel Melendez comes to win. And if that boy's in shape, he is trouble. So this is going to be an excellent fight. And even in that first fight with Emiliano, I mean, he got hit. It was exciting. Like you said, Champ, we bring guys back when they're exciting. He's exciting. There is back and forth. So, I think with this fight, like I said, this is a sneaky card stealer. If, we talk about how great our cards are, how deep they are, this is another one of those deep fights that's you don't want to miss.
Well, it's fight night, and we got to speak to Emiliano Moreno. This is what he had to say.
My name is Emiliano Moreno. My record is, my professional boxing record is 8-0 with 5 knockouts. And my style of boxing is a boxer puncher. My fight did get changed. My opponent got changed. So I'm fighting Melendez, and he's an undefeated fighter, like you said. I think he has 7 fights and 4 knockouts. We seen some video on him. We think he's a good opponent. We've been getting ready for basically anything in this fight. I mean, we seen him fight. We like the way he fights. You know, he kind of stands there, so he applies pressure. So I like that because I don't have to go look for him. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be fighting on ProBox because they're a really good promotion. They make really good fights. They get you known, and I'm just gonna go out there and do what I do best.
All right, so Moreno is promising a knockout, but we're going to keep it moving. We got a banging cruiserweight fight, Chris. Lucas Pontes de Silva against F.A. Apache. Every single win these guys had has been a knockout. De Silva is undefeated. The cruiserweight division, these guys are bringing some heat. They are going to bring it tonight, Chris.
You said it. I mean, listen, every fight we got to have some guaranteed banger. This is it. We got two cruiserweights. Our ring is super small. It gets very intense in there. Both guys come with murderous intent. They're looking to knock somebody out. So this is going to be one of those fights where you don't want to get up and get a drink during this one. Sit down, watch it, because it can end at any moment with these guys punching.
And then we got the main event. Super bantamweights. These guys are both ranked in the top 10. Israel Picasso against Ramon Cardenas. Well, Sean, this is what we've been highlighting. We've got the young kids, we've got the veterans, and we've got two guys who want to be champions. They're both ranked in the top 10, so this fight is extremely important to both. Talk about this type of matchup.
Fun fight to watch stylistically. Both guys, a lot of punches being thrown in this one. So I think this is a 50-50 fight. And I think that this is the kind of fight that ProBox TV needs for people to say, I don't know the name, but that was a lot of fun to watch. I don't know the name, but that was competitive and it was a good boxing match. So, you know, that's the generic way that I think people think about boxing sometimes. But I think that's what this fight is all about. This fight is about who's gonna last, who's not gonna back down, and who's gonna keep punching. You know, I think that both guys are gonna come into the ring, punches and bunches. The duration of the fight, and it's 50-50 for me.
And G, real quick, I mean, these are also guys that have taken O's from other records. They have been match tough. These are not just manufactured good records on these guys. These guys have been literally match tough. As a matter of fact, Picasso, who's 30-5, has a loss early in his career. Went head-to-head against Mauricio Lara, who ended up becoming a world champion. Ended up unseating Lee Wood later on in his career. So you know, Picasso's 30-5. He's on a 15-fight win streak, and one of those losses early career. How many times have we early career in our first 5-10 fights fight guys that wind up becoming world champions later?
And Paul, he's only 25. He hasn't lost. He hasn't lost since he was 20
He's
years
a veteran
old.
at 25.
Right.
Yeah.
He has not lost since he was 20 years old. So you got to look past the numbers on these records when you look at a ProBox TV fight. And I love this fight, man. I think this is a great matchup.
And like I said, just to bottom line it out, they've both taken O's from other guys. Both guys have knocked off undefeated guys.
Yeah, this is going to be a battle of left hooks. Both these guys have fantastic left hooks. Picasso much more to the body, and Cardenas I think is a little more savvy. But this is one of those fights. It's like who's going to get there first, but more importantly, who's going to get there last? Because I don't see this fight going the distance.
Yeah, make sure you go to sportsbetting.ag. The odds were just up. The odds are very close in this fight. And Paul, you took the words out of my mouth. These guys have losses, but they're veterans and they're experienced fighters.
And the loss by Picasso to Lara was a split decision early in their careers.
Right. We had a chance to we caught up with Cardenas. Very interesting interview. And here's what he had to say to us.
My name's Ramon Cardenas. My record's 23-1. My style, I mean, I don't have like a definite style, man. I always tell people I'm here there to win. So whatever I got to do to win, I'm gonna do it. So I don't have a particular style where I'm gonna come out a certain way. You know, for me, it always changes. I got my nickname is Dinamita. I got it because of Juan Manuel Marquez, man. I kind of, you know, growing up, I looked up to Juan Manuel Marquez. And so, you know, when I got older is when I kind of was able to realize how, like, you know, like how beautiful his style really was. And how, you know, the stuff he used to do, not everybody could do that. So I was like, you know what? I was like, you know, I like Juan Manuel. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take his nickname and I'm gonna just keep it for myself now. I mean, it's gonna be something, you know, something special for me, like to have him, you know, commentate my fight, and plus it's like anything, you know, I get to see what he thinks of me, what he thinks I can work on, stuff like that. That would be the best thing as well to know, like, okay, you know what, he's good, but he needs to work on this and that. And it's not like Joe Blow from down the street is telling you this. Oh, you have to throw more jabs, or you got to do this, or you got to do that. This is a Juan Manuel Marquez, so it's gonna be that's the good thing, and I'm gonna have to, work on, I guess, stuff on. Everyone has things to work on after a fight, or just in general. I've never met him. It's a crazy story, but my dad met him in Piedras Negras, and I was supposed to go with my dad to hang out with him and everything, and then I didn't end up going because my dad had went late, and so he didn't text me or nothing. I was like, oh man. So then my dad met him. I never met him. I'm pretty excited to meet him, man. I mean, it's like I told you, it's a hero of mine growing up. I'll never forget. I always tell people this story. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings watching his fight versus Pacquiao in 2012. And Buffalo, I don't know if you've ever been to Buffalo Wild Wings, but they have like two sides. It's the bar side, and then they have the dining side. And, once the fight starts coming up, nobody leaves. Everybody stays there. So the people in the bar, they started fighting. And everybody that was there had a Mexico jersey on and everything. And me and my brother was there. And they told us, hey, if you leave, the food will be free. Because they didn't want nobody to fight no more. So we left, but that's when Marquez knocked out Pacquiao, and the Pacquiao fans were fighting the Marquez fans, and it was crazy. So, it's a memory, like a core memory that I will always have forever, like where I was, like when they tell you, where were you when the man landed on the moon, or when this happened, or when that happened? For me, I would never forget where I was at in that day in 2012. Whether we be from any ends of the earth, man, this is where we come and we try to make our dreams come true. So, and we go out there and we try to beat each other up for a living, man. So people should watch and should support everybody.
Friday night, tonight, it is going down. Sportsbetting.ag, you see it there. They're the official betting sponsor of Wednesday night fights, and you see those odds on the main event, very close. Sean, intriguing card. You've got a little bit of everything, and I'm excited for it.
You got a little bit of everything. I really do feel like that's the case with this card top to bottom. You can turn on ProBox TV at any point in time and you will be entertained, you will be impressed, and you'll want more of what ProBox TV is bringing you. So I'm excited just going through the card, kind of picking up things along the way, and I'm like, wow, this is top to bottom. This is going to be action-packed, and it's going to be fun to watch. So you guys enjoy.
Chris and Paulie, we got to wrap this up. You guys got to get ringside and call the fights. I know I can see the excitement in your face, Paulie and Chris.
Dynamite. Good fighters and great fights. ProBox TV, your boxing channel. See you ringside.